Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, otherwise known as Brendan TCA. Welcome back to another live stream, guys. Today, of course, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of the altcoins, what's happening in the market right now, and of course, a lot of technical analysis. So, if you guys are interested, go and smack that like button. And welcome to the live stream. There's going to be some cool things. I don't know if you guys are hyped for tonight, but I know I am, because there definitely is a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to be talking about. I'm going to go ahead and fix this guy up. Making sure that we get this on part. There we go. There we go. Now I can read chat. What's going on, guys? Matt, welcome. Power to Achieve. Rob G. Hello, hello, hello. What's poppin'? Hello from Long Island. Great to have you all the way from Long Island. Is that not, I believe that's Rhode Island, right? Long Island's Rhode Island? Or am I mistaken there? Yo, BTC buyer, what's up? Welcome. Great to have you guys. I just really forgot to do something before the stream. New York, Long Island, New York. Wow, welcome from New York, my man. Great to have you in here. Crypto space is dead these days compared to this time last year. Do you guys remember this time last year? It was oh man, it was a different space. This time last year, it was a different sentiment. I'll tell you that. Well, what is it? January 24th last year. It's a world's difference. That's for sure. Ooh, a burp. All right. So I want to give this a couple minutes here, but I do want to go ahead and go over some basic stuff. I forgot to get out my article today. But nonetheless, I mean, really not that much has changed, right? From yesterday's video. I guess recapping yesterday's video, I want to talk about a couple of things. Of course, these support lines. And I said, of course, you know, if it were to hold above these support lines, then that would be a pretty decent thing for Bitcoin. Like, I'm not too bearish as long as it holds above this. And of course it held above this, and it went and it retested the 50 EMA. And when it retested it, of course, another rejection candle. When I'm looking at this and when I see this, again, you're getting consistent rejection, and now this is a lower rejection, right? For a while you were scaling up rejection along with this resistance, but now that you are, again, losing this buying pressure, again, it does make me a little bit nervous. But you're still holding above this line. So maybe it comes back down and maybe it makes another lower high. Maybe it makes a pennant or something here. But from the looks of it, again, there's nothing really bullish here. There's nothing too bearish because you're above the zone. But there's definitely nothing bullish because of the fact that you're below this one. And I want to give people time to hop on in here before we go too deep. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So yeah, everyone's starting to join in here now. What'd you say? Everything except Neo. We are dumping hard this time. Yeah, so I want to talk about something that I was going over with one of the Patreons today. And that's on kind of the case of Ethereum. And I also want to talk about a couple things. So of course, first things first, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Second thing, we're going to be talking about Ethereum. And third of all, I want to talk a little bit about a coin that has just been brought to my attention from some friends recently, and that is Pundi. And I don't know if you guys have looked into Pundi. If you guys have, then you guys are going to like what I have to say because it's all positive. And we were having this discussion in the Discord a couple days ago, and I really want to shine some light on Pundi because I think it has a lot of potential, and I really do. And the more I research it and talk to people about it, the more bullish I become. I'm going to go ahead and move my microphone up a little bit. Sorry for the squeak. So I want to talk about, of course, Bitcoin. We're going to be doing technical analysis on this. I want to talk about Ethereum and really how my view on Ethereum has changed in the big scale. So not just the small term stuff, not just the small talk, with the bigger scale picture for my thoughts on Ethereum has changed. And I want to talk about it. Now, will I trade it still? Probably. But I'm probably not going to long-term hold Ethereum anymore. So I want to address that after we go over a full Bitcoin analysis. So let's go ahead and get right on into this. Ferris, welcome. He says, how do you like the hockey stick on Hollow Hot? I have not even looked at it. I'll go ahead and we'll take a look at it in a little bit. We're going to go through some of the main stuff I just talked about, and then we'll take a look at Hollow for you. Last year, Square. Yeah, so I'm going to be addressing the whole Square thing, too, because I was talking to other people about that. I went from 13 sats when I sent you that 2 days ago, and then look at where it's... Nice. Good stuff, dude. Hot, crazy today. Yeah. It is. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Sorry, is my camera lagging a little bit? Maybe. It kind of looks like it. Anyway, let's do this. Bitcoin, what are we looking at over here? Of course, really, as I mentioned earlier, not much has changed from this point. Breakdown out of the pennant, rejection, right? I said in yesterday's video that as long as we held above either of these white lines being support, that this really wouldn't be too bad of a situation for us. And we've done exactly that. We came back down, kind of touched this area, came close to it, high or low, which is great to see. And then we rallied back up to the 50 EMA, got double rejection candles, one being just an ever so slightly piercing candle, the other one just getting rejected straight up from the 50 EMA. And now you have a falling price action. Now, this has only been one candle since the double rejection, so we really can't judge this too harshly. You still have an hour and 53 minutes until your next 4-hour candle. So we're taking all this into account. But when I'm looking at this, again, I'm not too bullish, but I'm also not too bearish because of the fact, again, as long as you're holding above this level, or either of these levels, I'm really not too bearish about this. These have seemingly been a decent support all the way through here. And I wonder where the fib, we can do a fib retracement in a little bit. But as long as you're above these, I'm really not too bearish on Bitcoin right now for that reason. But as long as the fact that you keep getting rejection candles makes me, again, very bearish because you are still getting rejection candles all the way down here, but you're also still getting, higher lows. So we'll see. Lower highs, higher lows, probably forming some sort of a pennant. Ideally, if it did form a pennant, it would be a bearish pennant. But again, none of that's really confirmed at this point. You don't have enough information to convey that. But we do know that price is getting at least squeezed in some way. And we'll see that even more so on some of the altcoins when we go through them. But these are really my targets, I guess, for trading Bitcoin in here because of the fact of just, I don't know, everything that's happening. So you can kind of move this guy up if you want a little bit. But this whole area around the white lines are going to be really just my solid supports. And, I guess the trading zone, so to say, but I'm not even trading Bitcoin right now. Now, it's not like optional because some stuff happened with where I trade, and I was given X amount of days to move my funds and create a new account. So, moving on. Okay, so let's talk about targets, I guess, for Bitcoin. So we can go ahead and talk about targets here. Targets for Bitcoin right now, again, if it were to break out towards the upside, of course, previous support that has turned into resistance is going to be my first area of targeting. If I'm going anywhere above this former support turned resistance, I'm looking right at the 200 EMA. Anything above that, and I think, again, the 200 EMA is going to be this area of hard resistance because of the fact that it is the 200 EMA on your 4-hour, but again, also because of the fact that you have everything over in here, also, really being a multifunctional tool, multifunctional resistance along with your EMA. So when I'm looking at both of these, I'm thinking, okay, well, not only do you have one form of resistance over here, you also have a second. So with these two combining, I do think it's going to be a decent one. I think that you could, I could easily scalp a short probably against this 200 EMA if it were to even get up to that range because of just how hard that resistance would be. Scalp short, super fast in, out. And I think I would feel pretty confident about it. Now, moving on to anything above that, of course, you still have previous resistance up here, and anything above that, you still have any kind of swing high from this region. So that would be, again, my ideals for an upside in the target of Bitcoin. Ideals towards the downside would be these, again, these couple supports that we've been talking about for the duration of this live stream, being, I guess, 1, 2, and 3 being, I want to say, consistently stronger the farther you get down. But none of these are really that strong until you get to this guy. This guy's going to be a decent support, and if we actually get down to this point, you'll see the same thing that your 200 EMA would do would be the same thing that this support would do. Because, again, these candle body closings would be a multifunctional tool because of the fact that if this thing were to fall down, it would be into the same area of this consolidation, and you would have both of these acting as double supports because of the fact that you'd have all these candle body closings working as at least some sort of a support because, again, consolidation and duration of candle body closings that are spread out horizontally do create essentially kind of like wall areas, consolidation areas, but also the fact that you do have a sloping downward support over here. So these two coming together will form some sort of like a double support, which would be, again, stronger than it normally would because of these two areas combining. So that's why I have this one highlighted in blue, because I'm more confident about it. And then, of course, the other one's highlighted in blue that I'm more confident about is the double bottom on Bitcoin, because if we do, break through this level, I think it's definitely something that we're going to see as a straight drop down to this double bottom, almost guaranteed in my opinion. And if we do reach down to this double bottom, again, probably another area to scalp. Now, something that I would be scared about is that if we were going to... something that I was scared about is that if we were to drop right through the floor of this, and let's just say it does something like this where, oops, wrong tool. Let's just say it does something like this guy, and it comes down in here, and it kind of just drops through these supports, maybe consolidates, comes back up, falls through the floor of this guy, and then just goes straight, keeps just going. That's where I would start getting afraid, because this, again, it's a, it is the all-time low for this bear market, and if it were to just the floor collapse first try, I would definitely be significantly more nervous about that, because that would just show such a level of weakness in the price action of Bitcoin. Now, what I think personally is going to happen is different from that exactly. Let's go ahead and draw this out a little bit. So personally, what I think can happen in the price action of Bitcoin here, let's go ahead and draw up a new line. Something that, this really wouldn't actually change too much. But I think what you could do is actually create a descending triangle of your own over here. And it would look something like this. Now, if you guys look at this, this obviously isn't going to last the whole duration of the year. So if this does create some sort of a descending triangle, it wouldn't be the entirety of 2019. And in fact, it would probably only be half of it. And I want to talk about a unique theory that someone was talking about earlier. And it's the theory that Bitcoin, reversal of Bitcoin markets, or reversal, more specifically of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets, happen about a year before the halvening happens in, basically with Bitcoin mining, the halving and the mining, what's it called, hash program, whatever you want to call it. So if this puts us into this point where we create this descending triangle, and we drop down, and then we come back up, and then we drop down, we come back up, we do the whole thing exactly what we did last year, and then the floor falls out. About halfway through the year, we go over here, and we bottom out about halfway through the year. Well, what this means is this date in particular is not significant, but the date that's a year ahead of whatever we would bottom out at, about halfway through the course of 2019, is a significant point, because with the halvening happening, well, that's a tongue twister. With the halvening happening in Bitcoin in the mid region of 2020, if we bottom out in the mid region of 2019, that would put us exactly a year before the halvening happens in Bitcoin. And that would go really hand in hand and coincide with this theory that market reversals happen about a year before halvenings happen. So when this Bitcoin update happens, and it is, a year, if this does bottom out about a year, it would work so well together. Now, is this guaranteed to happen, right? No, it's not. But when I look at this, I do see it as definitely as some sort of a possibility, and that you could set yourself up for for some sort of a descending triangle, and then one final drop, and then bottoming out. I don't know, again, I don't know exactly where the bottom was. Months and months ago, I said it was going to be like 2,900 or 2,800 or something. It could still do that, and that would be awesome because my prediction would be right. But personally, I think that this thing has one more leg down in it. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just enters this consolidation period where everywhere from, like, I don't know, anywhere in this range, like I've talked about in my prediction video, where you, excuse me, where you just have this giant sideways range of just trading Bitcoin in this very low volume, very low price action consolidation range in Bitcoin, which causes this reversal. Something that's very, I think personally going to happen if Bitcoin continues. Actually, I'm going to leave this up here because I like this. So if this continue, if the market reversal, sorry, a little bit at a loss for words. If this market reversal is going to happen, I think that it is going to be something where there is like low trading, there is low volume, there is just capitulation, and I do not ever say that word like ever. So when I say that, don't take that lightly. But it will be a point of capitulation where people just give up. They say it's not moving anymore. There is no volume. The price action is boring. I don't want to trade it. I'm tired of holding my bags. And you have these people leave the market and give up. And when you have these people that give up, all these moon boys and I don't know who they are, hype men and people who are not in it, or who are in it and don't know what they're doing. Once these people leave and then they're done, and just when they give up, I think you're going to have this reversal. And I'm not the only one who shares this opinion, because I'm sure you guys have heard it before, but I think it's very true, because it is going to be just this sideways boring stage until this really takes off again. And I think that that's what it's going to take. So zooming back in here, let's talk a little bit more about this. Actually, let's go ahead and go into some of our indicators and oscillators. What are you guys saying in the comment section? Nothing going on. Zerp, zerp. What's up, MLog? Great to have you. Pundi X is big. I bought it at 69 sats, and I bought Pundi X at 9 sats. Dude, 9 sats is good. I wish I could have bought some at 9 sats. I read that as well. How long have you been in crypto space? So, Ferris, so yeah, let's talk a little bit, Ferris. I guess we can do that. So for those of you guys who don't know, I have a whole video on my crypto background that I made, man, almost a year ago. So my crypto journey started in 2011, the very, very late part in 2011. I was still in high school at the time, and Bitcoin was just under $2. It was at around $1.96. And I was in a class called Contemporary Issues, and we'll get back into the technical analysis in a second, guys, but I guess I can go ahead and explain. I think it's important to explain my background with my history of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So I guess the start for me was in 2019, or 2019. The start for me was in late 2011, about November of 2011, November, December of 2011, somewhere around there. And Bitcoin was just around, I think, $1.96. And I had a class called Contemporary Issues. And in this, we had to find upcoming events that were in the world and anything that could be popular and big and trending and something that could have a potential huge impact on the future. And so I saw that Bitcoin was almost worth, or something called a Bitcoin was worth almost twice as much as the US dollar. And so when looking at that and comparing it, I said, all right, wow, that's kind of a big deal. This crypto, this cyber currency, and at the time the internet was kind of blowing up. And so I said this cyber currency is worth twice as much as the US dollar. That is huge. Like, the euro's not even that, and they were like better than us. And all these other pairings, like there was no other forex pairing that was like, man, these guys are just worth so much more than the US dollar. It's almost twice what the US dollar. I thought it was crazy. So I get up in front and I do this giant presentation with PowerPoint and everything, and I present that there's this thing called a Bitcoin, and it's worth twice as much of it as the US dollar. And it was kind of just a laughing stock at that point. People were like, all right, yeah, get a real presentation up there next. And they kind of pushed me off, and it was really just brushed off. And it was just this laughing stock at the time. And I thought it was the coolest thing. I thought it was a really cool idea. And so in 2012, I ended up doing another report on it, because I was like, all right, I'm not giving up. You know, screw the haters. We're doing another report on it. And I did another one, and it really just had the same reaction from the teachers, from the peers, from the students, from everyone who was present there. It was pretty much the same reaction. There might have been a couple people who thought it was cool here and there, but like the majority of it was just a laughing stock, and it was not taken seriously. And so I was kind of peer pressured out of the zone following that. Not right away, but it was kind of just a series of events. And myself, of course, being in high school at the time, there was a lot of other things. You know, really, I think the last thing that you think about in high school is that when you're getting peer pressured into something that you really have no incentive to stay in. So as a high schooler, I had no like crazy incentive to just have this burning passion for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, especially not when I'm getting made fun of for it and being like, all right, come on, move it along, do something serious, you know, go get your traditional 9-to-5 job and get into college and work at a desk job for the rest of your life or something like that. You know, like that's what I'm being taught in high school. And so, you know, I'm not being taught how to invest or like any of these like useful things, not anything that I've taught myself today. And I really got pushed out of the space, and I really did. And it's sad because that was probably the greatest potential investment that I could have made in my entire life, and I got chastised for it and peer pressured out of it. And it's unfortunate. And so there was years where I was very, very in and out of the space, and I just didn't care, and I couldn't bring it up because, again, peer pressure is a hard thing when you're in high school, and I just didn't want to relive, I guess, any kind of regrets or chastisement or whatever mockery for it. And so I just didn't touch it. I didn't bring it up. I tried bringing it up. Even my parents were like, this is a joke. It's a scam. You don't want to be a part of this when it blows up. And then I really ignored it from that point. And so, come as years pass, again, very in and out of it. And then my brother brought it up to me in about 2016, 2017. My brother brought it up to me, and I said, yeah, I know, dude. Everyone's going to make fun of you for it. Just stay away. I said, and he's like, no, you don't understand, dude. It's up so much money. And I was like, yeah, it was up a lot of money before. It was twice the US dollar, and it even went way past that. And I said, like, how much is it? Because he wouldn't let it go. And I said, okay, how much is it? And it was like, I want to say he said it was like over $1,000. And I was like, what? You're telling me this thing is over $1,000? I said, no. I said, you're wrong. It's not the same thing. And he said, no, it is. And he showed me, and I was blown away. And that's what really got me back into the space. It was like, it was definitely under $1,000, but it was pushing 1,000. I think it was pushing 1,000, like 2016, 2017. It was on its way. And I just was blown away. And I said, well, something has to have changed, because the technology back in 2011 and the technology back in 2012 and 2013 was crap. The exchanges were crap, the technology was crap, and ever so slightly. And like just so much of it was just crappy. It wasn't made very well back then. And if you wanted to get some, it was so hard. And I came and I said, well, okay, something has to have changed. And it did. Like, really just the fundamentals behind the technology and everything really changed, and it improved so much. And that's what really got my attention, is that, and I remember looking at things like when they were coming out, like, again, Ethereum, and when XRP came out, I was like, man, dude, this technology, this blockchain technology has improved so dramatically in such a short span of time. And this thing that has only been around at the time for like 7 or 8 years, it was, again, I believe it was at like in the not the trillions, the billions. It was billions of dollars. And I was like, this is the market cap. And I was just blown away. And I was like, I have never seen something that has grown this fast. Not gold, silver, Forex, stocks, whatever you want to call it. It's just blowing up. And the technology is improving so rapidly. And so, of course, even with today, Bitcoin's technology is so far ahead of where it used to be. And so when I look at it and I saw that it was improving, I said, okay, I obviously am missing out here. And the more I learned, the more I said, all right, this is really just kind of the tip of the iceberg. And I looked at things like statistics of who's invested, how much of the world's invested, the capability, the scalability, where can blockchain actually go, where can Bitcoin actually go. And then once I really started getting into some of the fundamentals, I said, all right, it's time to start making investments. And that's really what I did. And I said, all right, well, it's not enough for me, because I'm a kind of a perfectionist. And I said, all right, well, if I'm going to be investing in this, I need to learn how to trade. And I need to be able to do it proficiently. Because, and I kind of got tired of looking at these idiots online, or seeing these retarded, and excuse my vocabulary, but seeing just these pure mockery of ads on social media and YouTube of people telling you that they're going to teach you how to trade. And maybe they're great traders themselves, and maybe they're making a lot of money from investments that they made a long time ago. But for like actually learning trading, they're just idiots. And you look at their course and you say, how are you making money off of this? Or their ads are just horrible and cringy, and YouTubers who just don't know what they're doing, and somehow they're getting paid and people are donating and following them for them having zero idea what they're talking about, or maybe like 10% of an idea of what they're actually talking about. And I said, all right, screw all of this. I don't trust anyone, especially when it comes to something that's this complex. And I said, I'm going to teach myself. And I said, there is no better teacher. Again, if I want something done right, I'm going to do it myself. And that's exactly what I did. And so I taught myself how to invest, how to trade cryptocurrency, because I've been told that it is the hardest space to learn and invest in. And I said, all right, if I want this done right and it's the hardest space, I'm going to have to do it myself. And that's exactly what I did. And I spent hours upon hours upon hours for every single day. And for over a year, well over a year. And I continually learned in reading, and I got mentors, people who actually knew what they were doing. And I learned that you have to trade and read cryptocurrency differently than you would like stocks and stuff. You can't trade it like it's stocks. I mean, you kind of can in a sense, but again, there is a little bit of a difference between cryptocurrency and stocks and Forex and precious metals. And each one of them kind of has their own hidden, I don't know what to call it, not rules, but like little things that you kind of pick up on that help you trade the specific niche. And again, I taught myself, and then I really learned it. And then the more I learned, the more I realized how much these other people didn't know. And that's what really helped me the most. And so then I would stop saying, all right, well, it's actually hurting me, and it's actually negative that I'm watching some of these people because they're doing more harm unintentionally that I didn't know. They were doing more harm to me, my research, and my learning so then they were good. And that was the really big turning point for me. Is that after I cut out all these crappy, just idiot sources and started really perfectioning it, I don't know if that's a word, on my own, and learning how to invest and looking into these things and learning how to know if something's a good or a bad cryptocurrency, learning whether or not this is a pump and dump, learning whether or not something has scalability, learning whether or not something's bearish, bullish, whether there's a market reversal or not, whether something's tradable. So, again, there's a million things. Learning it all on my own, the more I realized that, the more I was like, wow. And it is just like opening my eyes. So hopefully that explains it. That's, I guess, the in-depth story of my history with cryptocurrency, technical analysis, market analytics, and blockchain technology. And it's something that I literally pour hours upon hours into every day. And in the beginning of last year, actually, funny enough, wow, dude, there could not be, I cannot fake this, there could not be a more perfect day to make this video. Because as exactly a year ago today, on January 24th, 2018, I created this channel and I posted my first video. And here we are exactly 1 year later, right? Over 4,200 subscribers. It's great. And I'm the most grateful person on this earth for it. But we're actually able to give, hopefully, I'm to the best of my ability able to give real educational cryptocurrency content that people can learn and use and apply. And at the end of the day, they're going out of this saying, okay, I learned more today. That's actually useful information. So that was my rant. So let's go ahead and talk about blockchain. If you guys want to learn more about that, just ask it in the comment sections and we can come back. But I'm going to go ahead and get back to some of this technical analysis here. So breaking down what we already said about Bitcoin, right? We already talked about the candle body chart, so I'll come back to that in a little bit, but I want to go through the indicators and oscillators and the volume as well. So looking at this again, bearish divergence still on your MACD. Well, it's technically not bearish divergence yet, but I would say if this rounds off anytime soon, then you're going to have like quadruple bearish divergence, and that is going to be a rough spot for Bitcoin. And if it's not quadruple, you could, again, however you want to call it. So you can call it triple, double, quadruple. Personally, I think it's quadruple because of the fact that you have 1, 2, 3. Now this would be 4 lower swing highs consistently, which makes it quadruple for me. Some people would just say, all right, no, this is just 1 formation over here. This is just 2 formation over here. This is double bearish divergence. However you want to look at it though, this is bearish divergence on your 4-hour MACD. So again, that's if this rounds off over here. You could even have a double top on your MACD. And that would be saying, and again, it's not a candle body chart, but what that would say is that there's just bearish, bullish exhaustion at this point. And so I would expect these oscillators to start rounding off soon. And just another reason why I'm currently more bearish than I am bullish in the price action of Bitcoin. So again, really not that much has changed over here on our RSI. It is very, very neutral. It's about as neutral as it can pretty much freaking get. Your RSI is pretty much reset. And let's go ahead and label this guy. So again, we can look at this and we can even kind of draw a line over here to show that there is just a rise and really a squeeze in the price action of Bitcoin. And the way that you can see this is that by noting that there is, and let's go ahead, we can actually label these guys. Let's go ahead and actually get some labels on here to kind of clear this up. Oops. Perfect. Oops. All right, there we go. So swing high 1, swing high 2, and swing high 3 is going to be right over here. Then we can do the same thing over, grab here, put this guy in. And then we have swing high 1 down here. Delete this guy, make this thing look a little bit cleaner, but really showing that there is this squeeze in the price action of Bitcoin because of what we're looking at, right? Consistently higher lows, consistently lower highs. Oh yeah, lower highs, higher lows. But I would say that your lower highs are considerably stronger at this point than your higher lows. And there's a couple reasons for that. Let's go ahead and put this guy in here as well. There's a couple reasons for that, but again, when looking at this chart, you have a much cleaner, much more drawn out, much more, this is just so much more well formed on your descending bearish volume and bearish outlook at this than this is from all that this is, right? This is very short, very stout, and not very well defined. This is something that I look at and just think, from my history with looking at RSI and looking at other candle body charts, this is just weak to me. So when I look at this, again, it's just weak, and I see this definitely breaking before any of this, definitely breaks, and you start getting higher highs on your RSI. And you could probably break your tier 3, but I don't think I would really want to see yourself breaking like the tier 1 or tier 2 up here. So I would see the floor falling out on to your downside more likely than I would seeing an explosion to your upside. And again, triple bearish divergence, I would say, well, yeah, so I would say right now, again, just you're neutral, so you could go up. But I would just say from this area, be careful, because now that you're neutral, you've reset yourself. You've reset yourself back to neutral, but I think that this is a bearish neutral, right? So I just want to make sure that that's known. Why is this hidden bearish divergence? And that's exactly why. So again, I think this is hidden bearish divergence at its finest, and there's going to be people who get wrecked here, and it's not guaranteed. I don't have a trade in here right now, mainly because I can't. I think actually I just got approved, so I actually can start trading again. But personally, I do think that this is going to go down. I think everything's coinciding so well right here. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and check this. If your 3-hour MACD or your 2-hour, like any of these are rounding off, I mean, yeah. I see. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like your 2 hours rounding off. Your 1 hour's losing bullish volume. So I would expect your 3-hour to follow and then your 4-hour. The only problem with this is, again, you're so close to neutral at this point on everything that an explosion either way is possible. But again, all of these things, your MACD, your RSI, your volume's complete crap. Like, look at this down here. It's fallen off so hard. I just see further down. An explosion is going to happen either way. But I believe it's more likely that it happens to the downside rather than from the upside to this. Let's go ahead and talk about Ethereum, because I did mention some things on Ethereum, and my thoughts on Ethereum have changed. So I originally said, I think it was on, let's pull it up. I originally said I think Ethereum was one of the coins. Where is it? I think originally Ethereum was one of the coins that I said I was going to hold long term, and I changed that. I took it off the list. I don't even think it was on my video either, but I still hold Ethereum. So if you guys don't know what my top 10 coins are, I'll go ahead and drag them over here so you guys can read them. I need to add actually Pundi to this list. Oh, and also I'm getting rid of Litecoin as well. Pundi X. So this is currently my top 10 coins. We can go and expand this or something, I think. Format, font. That's not even big enough. Let's make it like 36 or something. So currently, again, these are my top. I always get asked this. What are my top 10? What are my favorite coins? This would be them right here. Bitcoin, Stellar, and this is in no particular order, but I do want to go over this. So Ethereum and Litecoin are no longer on this list, And again, I do have my reasoning for that. Okay. So I'm no longer going to be holding Ethereum just because there is increasingly less and less of a reason for me to want to hold it rather than other things. And the way I look at it is that with the limited money that I have, I would rather invest it into other sources. And the same goes for Litecoin. Litecoin is just kind of falling off the cliff. It is fading out of popularity because they're not exceeding at any one thing. There are so many coins out there that are just they do Litecoin's job better than Litecoin. And there are better test nets now, and there are just better coins in period. And I'll go through comments in a section because I know that there's a ton that I was ignoring. But the same thing kind of goes for Ethereum. There's just better things out there than Ethereum, and I would much rather invest in other things like EOS or XRP or Pundi or any of the things on this list. I don't know why it's not on the screen. Any of the things on this list, really, I would rather invest in than Ethereum. Because, Ethereum, I think, really, and Litecoin, I think that they're struggling with scalability issues. And that is the thing that I don't like about holding them long term. Because if you think about it, the purpose of Litecoin was to be just a better version of Bitcoin that could act as a test net. But if you're looking for a better version of Bitcoin and things that act as a test net, you have at least 5 coins that do the job exactly like Litecoin. They serve the exact same purpose as Litecoin, except better. So why would I hold these things? Why would I not hold the things that do the exact same job except better? And they're nearly as popular. They have more scalability, and they have an active working dev team that's actually going to continue improving them because they care about scalability. Because you have to remember, when Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin, all these main founding cryptocurrencies, when they came out, they weren't worried about these long-term scalabilities against partners. What they were worried about is just creating this thing and making sure it worked and it functioned properly. And that's exactly what it is. Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, they laid the foundation for how this worked, right? Proof of stake, proof of work. That's things like Bitcoin and Ethereum created. And then you had, all right, well, now that we have proof of stake and proof of work, and we have different coins, some without set circulating supplies in existence, and then others that do have set supplies in existence. Well, now we need faster, cheaper transaction times. And then you got Litecoin. But since then, guys, the technology behind this stuff has improved so much. I just can't argue as to why I would hold Litecoin and Ethereum over some of these other cryptocurrencies. And again, some people have a lot of money so that they can just invest in all of them. But, me personally, I don't have just tens of thousands of dollars that I can just disperse between all 50 of the top coins. And so for that reason, I would rather invest it in things that I think are more scalable as solutions and are just going to be more successful within the next 5 to 10 years. And I see some of these ones, especially the things that I have on this list, being more successful in the next 5 to 10 years than I do see Ethereum or Litecoin being. And so that's why I've taken them both off my portfolio. So, tonight, probably after the live stream, I'm going to be trading out my Ethereum for a couple of the things on this list, and one of the first purchases I'm actually going to be buying is going to be a little bit of Pundi myself, because I think that they are, from what I've read, I haven't researched too much into them, but the more I learn and the more I know, the more confident I am about how they are doing things and what they're doing. They have been on fire. Wow. So let's go ahead and read through chat here for a second, because I have been neglecting you guys. I think it will take the government prosecution and conviction of illegal and manipulated exchanges seizing funds. FUD will come when regulation is clear and they enforce it heavy. Fair enough. Honestly, I think there needs to be at least some form of regulation, because we can't have the whole ICO scam thing like we used to, and the whole BitConnect crap. We can't have that all over again. So there needs to be some sort of regulation that doesn't let idiots like that run their platforms. Dang, 2011. I would have been rich by now. I know. Oh, trust me, I know. There's not a day that goes by that I don't realize that. That's another thing. I've told myself I will never I will never fall to peer pressure again. Because once you go through an experience like that and you get peer pressured out of the greatest opportunity in your life, you, like, again, it just motivated me. It said I will never, ever believe or fall into or listen to peer pressure again. Because I'm just so pissed off from that one experience. And I never have. Let me get this offline. What are you guys saying over here? I would have been, oh yeah. So how much BTC did you buy? How much did you buy BTC? At the time, none. Again, I was under 18. And I was under 18, so I couldn't purchase any. And it was a really hard process back then to get some. So back, again, in 2011. So it was, you pretty much had to be over 18 unless you were doing it completely illegally. And my parents hated it. So with my parents hating it and me being under 18, and anyone I know that would have bought me it made fun of me for it, there was no way for me to buy it. There just was not a way. Anybody who I knew that could get me some, they made fun of me for it. Anyone that my parents, again, hated it. They thought it was a ridiculous scam, illegal activity, you know, you get the picture. Like, and there was no way for me to get some. Probably I could have managed, right? I could have managed probably, but with the peer pressure and everything else, it just made me not care enough to just keep pushing through until I got at least some. Good for you. You are called, oh gosh. You are called to do this. Thank you for your help. Please keep it up. You're helping more people than you realize. Again, thanks for what you... Yo, thank you so much, Robert. It means a lot. I don't know if you're still in here, but I appreciate that. Any merit to pattern in shorts? Is there such a thing as an inverse head and shoulder on shorts? Yeah, I would say, I don't know. When you start doing, like, you can read the shorts and long charts, but I think it's kind of pushing it when you're doing TA on it. You can't read them like a normal candle chart, is what I'm trying to say. Ethereum has more competition today and less of a competitive edge. I agree. Now, the Litecoin community is insane. Adoption is something to consider as well on every exchange. Oh, well, your own opinion. Yeah, and so that's the thing, is like we all have different opinions, and that's something that I like about the community, is that we can disagree, we can agree, but we can all civilized and discuss it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And again, I have changed my opinion, and I've changed my opinion, and I've switched it. Let's go and save that. Multiple times, right? So a while it was the opposite. OMG, BAT, BNB, EOS are all ERC20 tokens relying on the Ethereum network. I know. But I believe, okay, so with BNB, I kind of wanted to take, okay, so BNB is a little bit different because BNB is an exchange token. And with it being an exchange token, it's directly tied to the success of Binance as an exchange. So I think that one's pretty said. And EOS was an ERC20 token, ended up getting its own blockchain, and I think that, and they are their own network, and so now you have EOS that's independent, and then I think that Amise Go and BAT, if successful enough, could do the same thing, especially Amise Go. Maybe BAT would still stay on the Ethereum network, but I think that what you would have is BAT is, again, so the way that BAT works is with its whole deal is independent advertising and essentially paying you guys or us, the common folk, for having to watch advertisements instead of paying the people who are watching. Like, instead of paying the program, they're paying us for watching advertisements. And Amise Go is essentially bringing banked to the unbanked. So they're a lot more significant, I think, on a larger scale. So I think Amise Go are much more likely to do what EOS did and get their own platform than something like BAT. But that doesn't worry me too much because, again, they are their own entity. Not even before the fork, when it does happen, Ethereum, not enough profit just to hold. Very true, better technology out there. Yeah. Hey, TCA, by the way. Yeah, what's up, Otter? Great to have you. Welcome, Joe. Welcome, Rich. Great to have you guys in here. It was like it was like buying drugs, pretty much. I bought. That's what I thought. It didn't make sense to run TA on shorts and longs. Yeah, I mean, we can go over them because they're definitely significant. And this thing's actually. Oh yeah, so oh man, we got to do some TA on this thing. You guys are watching. So respecting it right now very well. Very, very well. I bought my mattress for over $10,000 in May of 2013. In May 2013, I wish that money went into BTC. Oh wow, yeah. Could you imagine investing 10K into BTC in 2013? It was like I want to say it was like double digits then still. So like you would have a lot. BNB and BAT actually have. Yeah, so that's another thing is that BNB and BAT actually have working products. Real, actual working products are another significant thing that I'm a big fan of, and I think that that's what you've probably noticed with a lot of the things on the list. You are totally right. It could branch off of Ethereum, especially if Ethereum can't scale, i.e., CryptoKitties. Do you guys see that new CryptoKitties just got sold for like $10,000 or something ridiculous? It's insane. It's called the Dragon Kitty. Look it up. Maybe it's more than that. The 50 SMA is angled upward right now for the first time since September. Daily time frame. I think you mean EMA? All right, so let's go ahead and look at Ethereum. So with Ethereum right now, this was originally supposed to be a Patreon post, but I just talked to the Patreons about it, and I forgot to do the write-up today. So let's talk about this anyway. So when I looked at this, I saw a couple of main things. And the first thing, of course, is that there's really two outcomes from this point. And they're highlighted in purple and red. You have a descending triangle quite clearly. I would say that that is the most clear. When I look at this, the first thing I see is a descending triangle. And the second thing that I see is a falling wedge. And I think that, again, the descending triangle is more likely to play out than the falling wedge, but they're both significant. And you really do have to look at both of them here. And then, of course, you do have like these little itty-bitty green support lines. This one having 3 touches. Again, I just think it's weak, but I did manage to get 3 touches from here, so I had to draw it. And this one being from, relatively 2 different lows. Connecting, of course, this low to this low. But, at this point, we're just connecting 2 wicks. So actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy, and we can hold this one in here. Because what this one allows us to do is kind of draw more of a channel than what we'd previously seen. So what this would do is that now we have really 3 outcomes. So we could have, again, let's go ahead and emphasize this. So let's delete this guy. So we could have a descending triangle of sorts in this area. You could have a falling wedge if you follow our purple support. And if you follow the green support, you could have almost a parallel channel of sorts. So what is the most likely to play out here? Again, so personally for me, when I'm looking at this, I think that the most likely, and again, I've been saying that I'm very bearish on Ethereum for a while now. But now that we're getting rejected and really squeezed hard in this resistance, I do think that it is going to break down towards the downside. Actually, before I say that, let's look at some of these charts. Yeah, so very clear bearish divergence from what I'm seeing. So again, triple bearish what looks like it's going to be triple bearish, excuse me, not bullish. Triple bearish divergence on your MACD. Yeah. So I would say definitely what looks like it's forming triple bearish divergence on your MACD quite clearly. On your RSI, sitting relatively neutral, looking like it's ready for, it's just neutral at this point. So, I would say your RSI is actually a little bit more on the bullish side, just because that you do have this guy, and you can kind of do something like this, and saying that you're getting consistently, or you're getting now 2 consecutive higher swing lows. But I think that this point being and resting in the neutral and also getting pressure down over here, that you're now having 1, 2, and now 3 lower highs on your RSI is also telling me that not only is this neutral, but you're getting rejected already in this range, in this very short time frame. You're already seeing triple, 1, 2, now 3 rejections, each being stutter. Another swing low. This is what happens when my throat gets dry and I just can't speak because I'm trying to talk too fast. I always get told I talk too fast, and when your throat gets dry and you talk too fast, it doesn't really go very hand in hand together. So hopefully that point got across, but I need to just speak lower. That's my biggest problem. I always get told it in the comment section of videos. So yeah, so when looking at this, again, those are my concerns with Ethereum. So I would say in the short term, again, this is kind of just the shorter term. Probably within the next couple of days of Ethereum, I would be bearish. We'll see. Now, this could break out, right? You're still neutral on your RSI. Your MACD, while it is bearish, it's approaching a neutral range. So this thing could kind of soft reset itself. And we'll see as to whether or not this breaks out. But I would, and this is hard because just when you think something like this is going to make a move, right, it could just go sideways. It just could go full sideways consolidation, like, I don't know what to call it. It could just kind of wobble its way over here. Let's draw this. Let's get artistic. It could just kind of wobble its way over here and then just do nothing. And then you're like, all right, well, what's the kind of the TA, like, Brendan, what kind of TA am I supposed to do now? Because this was a formation, this was resistance, and it just broke out straight to the side. And that's something that I've legitimately been asked, and it's a valid question because you look at it and you go, well, what the heck now? Because it's a breakout, but like, what kind of a breakout are we looking at here? Because you're just kind of like doing this little action. And the answer is, it's probably still bearish. Because if you break out with no volume, it's a crappy breakout, nonetheless. So if it is a crappy breakout, then you still have no volume. Maybe it will soft reset itself. But again, unless it really breaks out with good volume, I'll be bearish on this, because then you're still proving the same point over here. And then you could probably even adjust this thing to still be a valid descending triangle. I'm personally cutting out that one wick because it makes it look significantly more clean. But a breakout that's not on good volume is a bad breakout. And I want to make sure that, I put that out there. Moving on. Let's actually go through some of the comments here. When drawing support and resistance lines, how come some wicks are cut off and some aren't? So that's a really good question, Matt. So with support and resistance lines, I almost never try to cut off a wick. I really don't ever try to cut off a wick, and if I do, it's unintentionally. With the exception of this little one guy in here, because sometimes there are things called piercing candles, and those are generally exceptions. So generally, and this is something I need to do, and so I'm glad you asked this, because I'm making a technical analysis course right now, and I need to make sure to include this in there. With piercing candles, I generally only allow one, maybe in a very rare case, 2 piercing candles per line. So when I'm looking at this, what I've noticed is that it's respected this line the entirety of its way through over here, and it's also respected the 50 EMA perfectly. However, there was one exception where it didn't respect both the resistance line and the 50 EMA, and that was this piercing candle over here. So what a piercing candle is just a wick, something that wicks through the candle body chart, or something that wicks through resistance or support or the EMA, whatever it may be. It's able to get a candle wick through it and then close below it, and it's called a piercing candle. So what it does is it means it has really no significance other than the fact that it was able to pierce through this and close below it. So it's still just as bearish. You can kind of just act as if it was never there. What it does is show that there's a hard level of rejection and that there's obviously a lot of resistance above this area because it wasn't able to get. Now, if it gets a candle body closing above here, that's a different story. But the fact that the candle body closed below here is telling me you can kind of just say it's the same scenario as if it never went above in the first place. And it's called a piercing candle for that reason, because it pierces, but it's not able to get through and it just falls back down. Same thing can happen on support. And we can go through another, I guess, example of that. It's a good, really good question, though. I wonder, I wonder what all them people who laughed at you are thinking now that Bitcoin and trust me, I've gotten a lot of. Oh, you'd be surprised. They were all like, "Dang man, I can't believe it," blah 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 blah. And then the bear market happens, and they're like, "I told you so." You get all these people, and they're like, "Oh, they want to be your friend, or they think that you're so cool, or you're so smart in investing in it." When like in reality, it's not anything like that. It's not like I'm just some wizard or anything. And then the bear market comes, and it goes back down to 3,000. They're, "Oh, I told you so. You're freaking, how is buying at the top?" And I'm like, I didn't buy at the top. I didn't buy at the top. I mean, maybe I accumulated some in like the upper levels because I'm always just trying to get more cryptocurrency. Because again, I'll be holding it for probably at least the next 10 years. And so I'm fine with buying in like any kind. So I bought at like 6K and stuff. But again, if I'm holding for 10 years, 6K is a very good buy in my opinion. So I'm not worried about that. But you still have people who are like, what's the saying? They kick you when you're down, but they want to kick it with you when you're up. And that's like the biggest thing that could describe this. I had people that made fun of me and roasted me and tore me apart for wanting to make a YouTube channel where I teach this kind of thing. And, here we are now. So those people are really doing nothing. They're doing nothing. The people who made fun of me for it and all those people, they are doing absolutely nothing now. Meanwhile, I've taught myself probably one of the most, inspiring and helpful tools of my entire life, and that is learning how to trade, invest, and do technical analysis. Like, learning how to do this stuff is life-changing. And it's so useful. And it's gotten me so many connections, too, because I'm able to be effective at it. Brent, yo, One Man Army's in here. What's up, One Man Army? Great to have you, dude. It's been a while. Thanks for the hard work. Please look at it would behove you. Ferris, what do you want me to look at? I'd love to look at it, but what do you want me to look at? Wow, I am really far behind on comments. I am sorry, guys. Amelia said thoughts on. Am I called up? Thoughts on Van Eck Sox ETF withdrawal. Do you think that it's delayed effect on the crypto market? Okay, so the whole ETF thing, if you're talking about like the Bitcoin ETF, it's just because the government shut down and they couldn't approve it because of the fact that the government shut down. The price jumps on January 14th and 22nd. Jumps getting super weak. You're very true about that. The jumps are getting weak. Each swing high is getting, again, increasingly weaker. But you're holding the same area of support, which makes me think it's a descending triangle with a piercing candle. Don't miss out. Thanks for the great content, brother. You all have a good one. Oh, don't miss out. Don't miss out. Did I read that right? Either way, Ferris, thank you so much, my dude. Appreciate it. Floor going to break, I think. Yeah, I personally do think so too. I have a possible scenario it will jump up to 3,800 before a major dump and dropped for a final bull trap. Where's 3,800? Oh, this is the wrong one. $3,800 would put us up here. So yeah, it would definitely be possible, to be honest. I wouldn't say it's like this crazy idea. I think that it will fall back to 3,520 and receive a boost before the final BTC drop. I hope not. Thank you. Matt, great to have you in here, my man. BTC buyer. Still $2 versus 3K. Oh, is that referencing... Was the whole $2 Bitcoin versus $3,000 Bitcoin referencing Phil Philb? That guy's still a really smart dude. Bro, use the haters as negative people, as stepping stones. Yo, thank you so much, Edward Park. Yeah, I really do. It motivates me. And I consistently get them, so it just motivates me. Are we moving? I saw a red candle for him. When's the dump? Batman said, when's the dump? Man, I am really far. Okay, no, I'm caught up on comments. When's the dump low right? I'm with you, Play. Thank you so much, Jojo. Great to have you in here. One Man Army says, it's definitely been a while. Yeah, it really has. Lower high. I'm at 38 and just another. So when's the dump? So we talked about it a little bit on Ethereum. So let's go ahead and break down BTC again. So for those of you guys who are new and you guys haven't seen this already, I'll go ahead and break this down. So the thing that I've noticed here is that we bearishly broke out of this pennant, which is something that I said that we were going to do. And since we bearishly broke out of this pennant, we came back down and touched this former support. Now, whether this is 3 or 4 touches on support is really up to you, because I mentioned this a lot, but you can kind of count this guy or not count this guy. It's not quite touching, but it's very, very close. So if you want to count him, he's 4 touches. If not, then you have 3, because you have 1, 2, and now 3 with this piercing candle down there. Erasing these guys with the bearish breakout of this pennant, I want to highlight a couple of things, because you broke down, you touched former support, and you were able to work your way back up over here. But since then, you got to a scenario where you now have 2 rejection candles on your former support. So what was formerly the support of this pennant all the way up, you're now using it as rejection. So you came up, hit it as a rejection, came back down, rallied up, got rejected a second time from this area, and then now you're falling back down. So you have 2 rejections on what was formerly support, now turned resistance, and you have 2 rejections on that on a daily scale, because we looked at this on the daily about a day ago, and there you now have 2 rejection candles on a daily chart as well as on a 4-hour chart. And what we've seen in this area is really a couple little support lines, support areas grow, and that's what these white lines are. They are minor support areas, and anything else is major support areas. And so that's what I've broken this down into. And I said in yesterday's video that as long as we hold above this area, I'm really not too bearish, but as long as we keep getting rejected over here, which we just got rejected from the 50 EMA now, twice, that again is more bearish, because you're getting rejected from your 50 EMA, you're getting rejected from this now turned resistance, and it's making me more and more bearish on Bitcoin, because you've had plenty of chances to swing higher over here, and you've had plenty of opportunities, right? All 4 of these wicks, and you've gotten rejected on all 4 of them. Not only that, but your volume's falling off dramatically. I mean, maybe that's a little bit over dramatic, but your volume's falling off. Your MACD is bearish. Your RSI's reset itself to a neutral bearish. Your MACD, so your MACD just straight up has quadruple bearish diversions. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm saying it is possible, as long as it holds this area, to be bullish. But I think that this area is going to break soon, in the relatively soon, not so far off future. And all of these things are kind of putting together that argument. Now, it could, again, as long as it's above this area, I'm bullish. But I just think that these areas are going to break soon. And I don't want to be longing it when they do. Or if they do, rather. So there's a whole lot of things that are making me form this opinion on Bitcoin right now. So, when is it going to dump? Those would really those articulate when I think Bitcoin would dump from here. Some support, One Man Army says, some support around $3,100 area, I think. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. But I think it will go up and then die again. Yep. They shield you when... Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, BTC buyer. You said they shield you when... Showed you when it was $2, and they show you at 3K. Yeah, so like that's the thing, is like they made fun of me when it was $3, and they were saying, I was an idiot for trying to believe in something when it was $2, and they say the same thing when it was $3,000. And so I've heard it all. Every market cycle that Bitcoin's had, I've heard it all. Wow, you must have made so much money when Bitcoin went from $2 to $800 or $1,200, and then when it went from $1,200 to like back down to like $200, they were like, wow, you're an idiot, this thing's a scam, it was a bubble, it popped. Then it went from $200 all the way up to $20,000, and then everyone's like, oh, well, you're super rich again, wow, I can't believe you called it. And then it went from $20,000 to $3,000, and they're like, wow, it was a scam, I told you from the beginning. And it's this cycle of like people and it's laughable, like it really is. And it's the same cycle, and I'm just so used to it. So when I hear people tell me it's a scam and it's a bubble and it has no long-term cycles and all this crap, like they just simply don't know what they're talking about. And it's the same thing with people who say you can't do technical analysis on cryptocurrency, or mainly on Bitcoin. Like, it's laughable because you have to think that they just don't know any better and they don't know what they're talking about. So I take it with a grain of salt. It's not like it's someone who's actually influential and know what they're talking about, something who actually understands the fundamentals behind like how cryptocurrency works, and more specifically the blockchain. Like, these people, they just don't know any better. They don't know the historical analysis, and they definitely don't know the fundamentals. And they obviously don't know technical analysis if they say that you can't do TA on Bitcoin and be successful, because I think it's very, very easy to prove that wrong. And anyone who says it's luck, then maybe me and some of these other guys have the best luck in the world. Maybe we do. Or maybe we just know how to do technical analysis. Hollow, Pundi X, Cardano, VeChain, ICX, and EOS to the moon. That's what Power to Achieve says. More people are having conversations about crypto and mass adoption coming with a future bull run. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely. What was the other thing I wanted to look at here? Oh man, there was one other thing that we were going to cover before we wrap this up. Oh, it was Pundi. So Pundi, if you guys don't remember, Pundi just recently had came out with a new video had been circulating around, and I think I posted it in my Discord, and I was talking to some other really people that I look up to a lot, people that I really do look up to, and I look at them as mentors and far wiser than myself when it comes to investing and trading and stuff. And they were some of the guys who gave me some insight as to what Pundi actually does. And so me and some other people in the Discord recently had a conversation about Pundi versus Square, and how could Pundi be successful as a competitor of Square in the modern day world. And what this really came down to, oh, and by the way, so we'll get right back to my point. I'm super OCD or ADD. One Man Army currently said around 3,100 area, and the reason why he was saying that area is because of the fact that we have, again, a double bottom would be around that area. So a double bottom, and this is going to be a strong support, hence why it's highlighted in neon blue, which you know, again, makes it known that it is a strong support rather than the white. But okay, so let me pull this up. Actually. BTC buyer says you have to really get educated in the space to understand the applications and what is going on around the world. Most people didn't believe in something that they don't understand until it's too late. That's the best way to describe it, is that just because they don't understand it, it's such a barrier to entry for them. And because they don't understand it, it's so easy to hate something that you don't understand, or something that you don't know on a personal level, or someone, right? It's so easy to hate on them or it or period. But once you actually understand it, it's like a whole new world. And then like your eyes are open, you're like, oh man, I was an idiot before. Why didn't I invest in this when I was younger? So let's break this down. $9:46. Oh, about 15 minutes ago I had a call on Discord and I had no idea. Was my computer ringing, guys, about like 15 minutes ago? Maybe more, probably like at least 20-25 minutes ago. I probably should have put my cell phone offline on Discord so that can't happen. Yo, come on in.
Man.
Hey, say hi to everyone.
Hi everyone.
What's up?
How's it going, man? Am I interrupting anything?
We're doing a live stream right now.
Oh. Okay. I was wondering about the guy who's coming over.
I think in a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know when.
Bye.
That was one of my roommates. His name's Dylan. Alright, so moving on to Pundi X, I want to go ahead and break this down so we can talk about this. So the big conversation that we had in Discord was, what about Pundi X versus Square? Because they're both competitors in the same space, and they're both fighting for the same thing of making cryptocurrency transaction and payments more applicable in the real world. And so with Square having partnerships with I believe Visa and MasterCard, and actually having their own debit card active right now, how could Pundi X seemingly catch up to this point? And some of the guys I knew were I asked the same question in this other Discord, and they elaborated on it. Let's go ahead and bring it up. So one of the guys replied, again, this is a guy that I look up to as a mentor for me. He says Pundit X already has faster and cheaper transaction fees and a faster and cheaper transaction time than PayPal and MasterCard and Visa. It is available with any X phone which are currently in production, and will be able to send any form of crypto peer-to-peer from X phone to X phone, which costs less than maintaining a credit card terminal. So that was their answer. And if you guys don't, so let's go ahead and break that down on a more simpler level. So it's obviously it's faster and it's cheaper, and the transaction fees and times and all that are better, and it's way more personalized, which is what they were saying. So it would eventually be able to work into your phone as well. So not only will you not have to carry around a card anymore, you could, but that's one of the things that they specify, is that you could just not even have to carry around a card anymore, and all the payment could be done by just turning your phone over, and it's instantaneous. And it's really just like this new way of paying. And so, what is happening in chat? Something just happened. And so that's how they were competing against, I guess, with Square. So they're faster, they're cheaper, and they're a lot more, I guess, on a broader use case, because you could use it to send money peer to peer. So it would act as a Venmo or as a PayPal, but it would also act as your bank account as well. So it would be like this all-in-one on the blockchain. So you could send money to your friends, or you could send money like peer-to-peer, or you could pay for something peer-to-peer, or you could pay for something retail in a store, and you can do all these things that are faster and cheaper. And so that's essentially the way that it was working. And they also have a very, very good scalability plan set up. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Best Trader says it's moon time. Vogel says Tron, folks, hold your Tron. Best Trader said bottoms in. Vogel said 50-cent Tron so soon you won't be able to play. Is that true? That's a big jump. I think the market cap for that would have to be, it'd be huge. Jeez. Get your coins before they're too expensive. All right, now we're getting into FOMO. Let's not push FOMO. I'm fine with you guys. Yeah, I think he forgot a zero there. 5-cent Tron incoming. No, so let's go. Let me pull up this. Because there was some more stuff said about it. Where was it? Oh yeah, and this is another thing that that I learned. He said, and they do quarterly coin burns of 2.11637%. Monthly airdrops this year at 0.83%, at 0.83% next year. Oh yeah, so quarterly. I missed it. I'm sorry. They do quarterly coin burns. They do 2.11637% monthly airdrops this year and 0.83% next year. And they have a transaction, and after every single transaction, they do an additional coin burn of 1 coin. So after every transaction, they additionally burn 1 coin, 1 more coin. So they've set up this working system. It's again, I just see this as more scalable than other things, especially like Ethereum and stuff. So moving on. I hope not, but the math doesn't make sense to me. I mean, a 50-cent Tron at this point wouldn't make sense to me either, but like in the future, absolutely. Like in the future, I could see Tron hitting 50 cents. I don't think it's going to be this year, and I really don't think it would be next year, but like I think it could. Like personally, like in a couple of years, I think you could have Tron hit 50 cent. But I really don't believe it would be this year. It can go up before then. I just don't think it will go up to 50 cents by the end of this year. So hopefully that makes sense. Load the rocket. Load the fuel, boys. We're going to the moon. In 2010, the first time In 2010 was the first time that I heard of a Bitcoin. It was dirt cheap, and I wanted to drop 1K on it until everyone was discouraging me. Oh boy, I regret it now. Always follow your gut. Hey, power to achieve. It sounds like me and you have the exact same story. Honestly, I mean, except 2010 is far earlier than me. I was at the end of 2011, so. The company Tron is being recognized. More and more people. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Love you guys. We're all in this together. We are family. Yeah, I mean, Tron has been making headway. And if you guys don't believe it, I mean, we'll look at a Tron chart here. Look at TRX2. We can go to BTC if we want. Like, they have been doing great. They're still on this support line. Oh my gosh. They're still on this thing. Holy moly. Daggum. I can't believe they're still on this. I drew this trend line thinking that for sure they would break it up here, but they didn't. They just held it, bouncing right off of it. So, I mean, yeah, if this isn't a testimony to say Tron's doing like good things right now, I mean, they are. They have significantly picked up their game from a meme coin to like an actual like use case coin that could potentially have a good future in cryptocurrency. They have been turning their game around. And so for that, I mean, they're getting out of the category of a meme coin at this point. They really are. There's a reason I'm the best trader. What's the reason? Guys, just stop trading at these levels. So what if you trade just to accumulate more Tron? Is it okay to trade then? What if the only reason that you're trading is to accumulate more Tron, right? Selling the top, buying dips. Is that all right? I'd like to see everyone succeed. Tron is making a killing the next heavy drop. No FOMO, this technology. No, okay. No FOMO, no FOMO, this technology is as big as the internet revolution. So I actually, as funny as that is, I would kind of agree with you because I think the blockchain and cryptocurrency technology is like nearly as big as the internet, like as the internet boom. And I think you're right in that sense. And maybe not just one specific cryptocurrency, but I think that the entire space in its entirety is something that could rival the internet boom. So I would agree with you there completely. But I don't think it's any one coin. I was super surprised that they have been holding these levels. I was going to short on the huge candles above 3 cents, and I got scared. I mean, one thing I learned is not to short. There's a couple coins that I don't short. When they go on runs, I don't short Tron or Verge or XRP. And like once things go into like parabolic mode, like it's just better not shorting them. You can get killed. Tron's just looking strong, dude. So, yeah. Let's check out XRP. What are we at? 33 cents. This is actually looking pretty bearish too. So here you had 1, 2, 3 separate touches on support. You fell through, used it as rejection during this period. Actually used it as rejection. Now you're getting rejected from your 50 EMA. So I would imagine yeah, I would imagine that you actually come back down and bounce off this line. And then maybe even break out. Maybe even actually break out. So I'll tell you what, if XRP gets near this line of around 30 cents, it might be worth a buy order for me. Maybe it double bottoms, but like, it might be a scalp. Actually, I don't know how strong that support is. But regardless, I think XRP is due for a run here. Personally. I think XRP is preparing. Yeah, too much risk. I get scared. I've lost trading. I mean, everyone's lost. That's the thing. So you really do have to know what you're doing when it comes to trading. Making profit on a dirty trade like that would make you feel comfortable doing bad trades. Hey, you're not wrong. So hard to do this trade stuff. It takes, I wouldn't say it's hard. Okay, it definitely is. This Bitcoin is hard to trade, but once you learn it, it really does kind of become like another language. Like learning and reading charts and learning how to trade. It's like learning another language. You really do get pretty comfortable with it. Oh, I thought for a second that this was going to be a descending triangle, and I was really going to get sad. But yeah, again, it takes so much practice. Lots of practice. I can't advise anyone, but I would not want to trade without practice. A lot of it. A lot of experience. I have a lot. Again, it's like I said, I put hours upon hours into learning more and, again, investing into myself with knowledge. And I know that's such a meme, but like literally it's true. By learning more TA and more fundamentals every single day. Hours of it. Outside of, like, you guys just see the very short end of the stick. You guys see me maybe for an hour or two on a live stream and maybe like 15 minutes in a video. But like there's hours outside of just what you see of me just studying what I'm looking at, learning more, like reading, watching videos, like whatever I can, seeking outside help from like mentors and other people. Like I spend hours upon hours just like researching and growing this database so that I am a better trader and that I'm more well-rounded when it comes to topics like this. And that every single day I'm progressively getting slightly better and better and better so that a year from now I'll be 5 times the trader I was a year ago. And it's something that I do pour just hours upon. Let's just hope for BTC to hit the bottom for now. Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see over here, but I don't think there's really too much else for us to talk about. One thing that I really have to do tonight, and I'll probably just do it right after this stream ends, is I've really got to start, I'll tell you guys what, I've really got to start making the videos for the TA course, because I keep putting it off, and I keep saying, you know, I'm very, very busy, and I guess that's my excuse, but I don't like making excuses. Excuses piss me off, even when they're my own. I don't like being, like, I don't know, it's not even that I'm being lazy, because I'm like doing so many things, but like when I have something that I really want and need to get done, I just want to get it done. So you guys know what time it is. So again, if you guys haven't already, hit the like button if you guys did enjoy this. It helps out the channel a lot. If you guys are new here, it's great to have you. Don't be afraid to chat, because I try to be as friendly as possible, and I'm very interactive with chat if you guys haven't seen already. So if you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Brendan. You guys can also know me as Brendan TCA or the Crypto Analyst. I really go by whatever. It's a pretty chill stream. If you guys want to join the Discord, it's completely free. It's in the link below in the description. You literally join. It's a community of us. We talk about cryptocurrency stuff. It's a really cool and great place to be if you're looking to get deeper into crypto. But if you're looking for that additional step to get into cryptocurrency, let me tell you what. We have something over here called the Patreon. We have really 3 tiers, but 2 of these are the same. So here we have our tier 2 supporter. It's $2 a month. Basically, every single 2 weeks, if you're a part of this $2 Patreon, you get to vote. You guys get to create and vote upon videos of what you guys want me to make. If you guys want me to do a certain topic or a video or whatever, you guys, as the community, as these tier 2 Patreons, you guys create these topics and then vote on them. And then whatever gets the most votes at the end of the month, or not at the end of the month, at the end of every 2 weeks, I have to make a video on it. It's really cool. It's interactive. And it's something new that I just added. So I'm actually really excited for what you guys come up with. And I'm kind of hoping that there's not like these, God help me, that if there is these troll topics, there's probably going to be topics about like why Tron will hit $10 by the end of the year. And so eventually I know I'm going to get a topic like that. But that's what the tier 2 Patreon is. And then if you guys are, and I'm sorry, I didn't expand this. But those happen on the 15th and the 30th of every month. If you guys are looking for a more informative experience about learning more about trading and technical analysis and everything, that's what the Tier 1 supporter is. I go over and I critique charts with you. I help teach you technical analysis. I give Bitcoin updates and really technical analysis updates in the Patreon, as well as giving like personal tips and a lot of trading and market insight. So there's all these things over here, and it really gives you this bonus access to me if you have questions and one-on-ones and stuff along those lines. So really for those of you guys who want to learn more about trading, I guess, and technical analysis and cryptocurrency. So that's my shill for my Patreon, like always at the end of every live stream. But it's a cool way to be more interactive, especially the $2. Again, the $2 one. It's like it's super cheap, but it's like a cool way to kind of get your voice heard and be interactive. I thought it was a cool idea, so I was like, you know what, let's throw it in there. And someone actually gave me the idea. That's why. Teach me that language. I can, but like that's the thing. So that's the deal with like teaching. A lot of people ask me. They said, why can't you just teach for free, right? Why can't you just do this for free? Because of the amount of hours that I pour into this every single day, as much as I wish I could make it free, it's not like beneficial to me, because eventually I'm either going to have to like stop doing this, or I'm going to have to either make enough money where I'm able to live on my own and do this. And I can keep doing this and teaching and helping people, which is what I really want to do. But there's going to come a point where I either have to stop doing this because it's not providing enough capital for the amount of hours that I spend in it, or I'm going to have to either make this my job and earn enough capital. So it's really going to come to one of those 2 points. And so I'm trying as hard as I can right now to hopefully make this, because if you guys don't know, YouTube doesn't pay like anything. I can pull up and my total earned revenue for YouTube is probably like over $100. And I've been doing this for over a year. So but that's really where I'm at. So people always ask, well, why can't you do it for free? And that's really why. So that's why I'm making this technical analysis course and the Patreon. And another thing that I'm trying to add is like one-on-ones with people, because that would be really cool as well. When I first started, I lost 15%. Oh, geez. Right away, and started trading a couple of days. Weeks later, trades. Much more successful for my style. And that's the thing, is adjusting trading for your style. That's another cool thing. Another cool tip is adjusting trading for your style, because some people are meant and some people are very, very good at doing swing trades, while others are very, very good at doing day trading and scalping. And there's all these different forms of trading that people just don't take advantage of. And then there's kind of these hybrids of blending like this swing to midterm trading with almost like a day trading perspective, and you can kind of hybrid and really fit what meets your style and what you're best at, and then that's how you get into trading. Because I learned I was not very good at day trading, but I was exceedingly good at this kind of swing trading, day trading hybrid. Again, I wasn't the best at this 10 trades per day, high leverage, high risk situations. But when it comes to some of these bigger trends like this, I learned that I was consistently very, very good at it and calling where and predicting where I was going to go. And so that's what I've done, is I've kind of blended this swing to day trading-ish style. And I've created this kind of hybrid that's really been working for me. And that's just kind of my thing that I do now, where I do things that are kind of on a smaller time frame, but I also do things that are bigger and larger, and I can trade off both of those. And so that's the thing, is like learning your style is a crucial thing. I watched so many people and thinking, I want to trade like them, and I want to be like them, and I want to be the same trader that they are. But in reality, you have to be your own trader. Your style is it might not be exactly my style. And like Crown is a great example. If you guys know Crown's Crypto Cave, he is an excellent trader, and I wish I could do what he does. But I am so much better, and I could probably learn, but like by default, I am so much better at what I do here than what he does. And so since this is what I'm good at, I can expand upon what I'm very, very good at and grow that and use that, right? I can, take the flower and let it grow. The loss is mostly in fees. Dude, those fees are brutal. Cool, we'll check it out. Well, cool, we'll check out your different accounts. Thanks for your time. Yeah, thank you so much, JoJo. So yeah, with that being said, guys, if you guys haven't already, hit the like button. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this to an end because we have been going for just about an hour and a half. So I'm going to wrap up this live stream. Talked about a lot of really cool and good stuff. So I do appreciate you guys being here and being a part of this. I am going to probably go get some work done. And hopefully I will be able to see you guys soon. So I appreciate all of you guys who came around in here, stuck with me, chatted through this tonight. Hopefully you guys were able to learn something informative out of this. But the pleasure has been all mine. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this to an end here. If you guys have any messages or anything that you guys want to send me, go to Discord or email me or anything like that. So I appreciate it, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.